Welcome to the Big Cheese Podcast. I am your host today here with Brandon.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
How are we doing?
And we have a special guest today, really special. We have Shawn Schwaggmen, the co-founder of Co-Content, and he's a known vibe coder. Vibe coder alert.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we've had an awesome discussion already just before the pod, so I'm really
Like for a half an hour, you guys didn't tell
Brandon,
me. I just showed up. And you guys
Brandon walks in, and we were already done. We could have recorded.
But we all actually had a little overlap not too long ago with the
Rally.
At the rally.
Yeah, rally.
The rally event.
Yeah,
So-
all the lead up to rally, Shawn was heavily involved, which you did a great job with your presentation.
Oh, thank you.
Showing everybody what the future holds. It's like we were ahead of the game a little bit, you know? And now all of the things that we predicted have come true.
I don't know if all mine have, but whatever.
Not all of them.
We'll jump into it because I want to just get to it because I have to.
What?
This Claude-bot thing.
Oh yeah. So there's this thing that I do. I don't know how you guys gather content. We're like, what do you do when you find something that's cool? Like I think for almost 10 years or more, I've used Twitter to discover stuff about development. Like,
And you
Twitter,
you just like it. Or
well,
flag
when
it
they
or
implemented the
bookmark
bookmarking system, it was a godsend to me because, I could go through my liked tweets and I was like, oh yeah, bookmarks. Well, I never do anything with the bookmarks.
Right.
They just sit there and then I never revisit them. Well, I had Claude go and say, hey, I want you to build me a system that every single morning goes through all the bookmarks that I bookmarked the previous day. And I want you to build me a summary of ideas, briefs, LinkedIn posts, blah, 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 all that. And this morning I was like, man, we need to have a good podcast today.
Right.
So I had it go through its thing, or I went through what it had done. And I was like, hey, Claude, it already has the context. It has the markdown files it created. And it just said, hey, give me a podcast schedule for today.
Right.
And I'm like, Jesus, this is so great. You know? And I'm using that. I'm using it for Jira. I'm using it. And we'll get into it with all the stuff Shawn's doing. But these like just one-off little tools that you can build for yourself are so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I have an agent for that.
So Shawn, you've been building a lot of agents lately, haven't you?
Yeah, up to a couple hundred.
Wait, a couple hundred?
Uh-huh.
Okay, please. Where, how, what?
So Co-Content, I'm about to rebrand it, and I'll save that for another day, but it's basically an agentic marketplace. So think chatbot meets Amazon, right? The ability to choose your own, with a layer of tools and apps, so think app store of integrations that you can connect. So as a marketer, we want to use AI more, but I can't easily connect it to Google Analytics, to Google Search Console, to HubSpot, to Salesforce, to whatever. So I built a tool that can do all of that, and then I kind of built it for myself and then thought, gosh, there's a business model idea here. So everything that I did in Co-Content, I've now turned into agents inside of this new brand that we'll be launching soon. But I have an agent that, and I have custom crawlers that I can use to grab data from LinkedIn or LinkedIn post data or X, you name it. So I feed it a handful of folks that I follow. And then once a week or once every couple of days, kick it off and just say, go. And it'll go scour the web, grab all my favorite handles of information, grab all the most recent LinkedIn posts, pull it all back, summarize it with links so I can skim and summarize. Because there's too much information. I don't have time to sit there and doom scroll on LinkedIn or X or whatever, but there's certain folks that I follow, and same. I will doom scroll, but then when
We all do it.
yeah, right.
I
And then
know.
when we find someone we like, instead of bookmarking, I just grab their handle and shove it into the agent.
And now, but then now the agent's just aware of that individual, and now is just going to continue to scrape and basically pull out. So then, is it? So each of these agents that you have in the system, are you basically going and saying, okay, here's your roles, here's the different things you can do. They have their own tool access and all that.
Exactly.
So what's really funny is that's. I mean, and again, way more rudimentary. It was what Big Cheese originally was.
Really?
Like that's when when Shawn and I started talking, it was you could go and basically add a company. You could go add and configure, here's all the different documents about the company, and then you can go hire a creative guy and talk to him about that, or as a developer or whatever. But it was just way too early.
I think the biggest thing that's changed, and this is what's going to be transforming the way the work that we do. Companies that need to implement AI, how they do it is just the tool access now.
Totally.
It's like, okay, before everyone was like, well, what if we just pipelined all our data into this thing and we vectorized it? I mean, we're beyond that now. It's like, no, we just need to connect everything and make everything available to us at all times.
Connect everything and make everything smarter. Because again, a lot of the
in
times
real time.
Right.
Not this whole like exercise. I'm sure. I mean, I know there's people that are like enterprises that are doing all this kind of stuff with their data and making it more, I want to chat with my data. Like I'm not personally, I that's not something I'm interested in as much as I am. I'm like, hey, how can I do this one process like way better?
Well, a use case, I'll give you a use case on how it really matters. I get called in to, CEO or board or whatever will say, we've got a problem with this company. We don't know why this is happening, whatever. And it used to take an incredible amount of forensic research to go through Google Analytics and Google Search Console and this and that and all their different applications to try and figure out what the hell went sideways. I don't have to do that anymore. When you create a new account, it automatically crawls the website. I know you guys aren't big fans of RAG, but I am from a content creation standpoint because the current web crawlers that are in the chatbots today suck. They don't return all of the content on a page, and that's. A lot of that is really relevant when you're doing content creation and trying to win in SEO and stuff like that. But to the real point is where is the why something happened. Well, in order to figure out why something happens, you have to go research all of the data, all of the analytics, all of whatever. And that used to take a lot of time. Now it's instant. Now in 60 seconds, I get a response back that, this number dropped on this date because of this thing.
Yeah. No, and I think that segues perfectly to like this, the first topic, which we're kind of already talking about, which is the Harvard study that basically says that they went through a bunch of companies and they went through specifically a 200-person tech company. And they're trying to figure out what's going on with AI. And they came up with this thesis that AI is not replacing work, it's creating more of it. And that really, when I read that, I was like, that's actually really resonating with me right now, with not myself, my clients. I mean, you have Silicon Valley's buzzing, tons of capital, everybody's busy over there. That's one thing. And then you have this concept of, what Jacob and I were actually talking about at lunch today, is you have all this like deferred work inside an org. And now people are like more productive and they're identifying gaps. And they're maybe touching that project or that process that they just wouldn't have had time to do before. But it's like, that's one thing, right? Just creating and developing more work. But I think what's also funny is like I don't know, do you guys ever listen to the Syntax SFM podcast?
Yeah, I love those guys.
The Scott Talinsky was like, AI is great because instead of one unfinished project now, I just have 10.
Exactly.
Exactly. And that was like, oh gosh, these people are, this is touching my soul because we're able. It's like this two-sided thing, right? Where there's so much more now that you can attack and you want to do, and then you start doing it, and the opportunities are like endless. Yeah. Right. And, I'd love to hear your perspective on like what that is, because and we immediately people want to talk about, are we going to lose our jobs and all that? But what I'm seeing is orgs, try that being true, that there's more work now.
I think most orgs don't even know where to start when it comes from AI. And I would say the people in this room are technologists that are future forward, that are like, early adopters, right? The vast amount of developers that I talk to are not using AI to code. And when I hear that, I'm like, they still make you? I don't.
What are you doing?
They still make you.
Right. So I think you have a vast amount of companies, and I deal with a lot of companies in the 10 to 20 million sort of range. I deal with companies way earlier than that, and then I have a few bigger clients. The bigger ones know they have the cash and the resources to hire people or create a team internally at Skunkworks or whatever, where they put on AI type of things. But they're not spending less. They're not letting people go. They're hiring more people to go attack this AI problem. The smaller companies don't even know where to start. It's like a blank slate, a blank canvas problem, right? They're like, AI, it's this wonderful magic wand. What do we do with it? They have no idea where to put it in to extract the most value. And when you back up, a year and a half, 2 years ago, there were studies from McKinsey and I can't remember the other ones, but a couple different research firms came out and said basically the same thing. I think McKinsey looked at like 800 and some odd companies, and these were bigger companies, obviously, but they found that only 5% of those companies got a positive EBITDA gain off of AI, and only like 2% of the total companies got a like EBITDA over 20% on a single AI project.
I've read that as well, and I have a question for you guys, and especially for you since you go to all these different companies. Do you think that it was the approach of how they were bringing AI into the organization that had something to do with that versus the technology itself?
I don't think it was the technology. It was absolutely the approach, and it goes back to they don't know where to start, and you get reality is not matching expectations. The expectations especially in the boardroom are you should be cutting staff, using AI, and getting 10x the work. And it's sort of like, yeah, that expectation is not based in any reality that I've seen.
But
if you just look at the history,
it's such a bad premise, right? Like, oh, we're going to have AI and it's going to eliminate the need for all these people.
Yeah, well, no, so here's what's so fucking crazy about all of this is that these companies are big, old-ass companies, huge, right? They can't move on a dime to save their lives anyway. And now you're saying, I need you to bring in this new concept of intelligence. And basically, I need you to go and just sprinkle it across the entire corporation and hopefully be able to go and wipe out a shit ton of human capital resources that we're just burning right now and magically make more fucking money.
And that's
it's a fucking fairy tale.
Yeah, it's that kind of what I'm getting at and what I've seen at those companies. Like that's like that CEO down approach with AI where they're like, bring in AI. And like the first thing they do is like, they just want to have every single piece of data and process like automated instantly.
Right.
And like, and you don't do that.
They're an expert. Anyone that's ever used
true.
ChatGPT thinks they're an expert in AI. So yet they apply 1 or 2 sentence little prompts and claim victory. Like you don't, there's no, in my mind, when it comes to competitive differentiator, it's a 3-legged stool. There's 3 things that are really important. If you look at it, the models, right? The model that you use. Well, is there a competitive differentiator there? No. And that's already a commodity and it's a rat race to the bottom. They're going to keep leapfrogging each other, but the gains that you're getting from Gen AI from model to model now are less and less and less, right? It's gotten to that.
It's already got that curve.
The curve. The second part is the instructions that you give it. Well, most people have no idea how to correctly prompt
Well, in fact,
AI.
not only is it incorrect, it's kind of dangerous.
Totally. Totally. And my prompts have gone from a couple paragraphs, which back in the day was really long, right, to pages. Like I got 2 or 3, on average, probably a 2 or 3 page prompt for a single agent because you can be more detailed and they can handle more context. And it still doesn't do it right. But the third leg in that stool is the data that you feed it. And right now, you can't really connect much data to it unless you're copying and pasting or uploading documents or whatever. There's a gap in, and I know MCP, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's a great fairy tale. And will it evolve? Yes, but we're in our infancy right now.
What is your take on MCPs right now? Is there a high level take that you have?
Yeah, I have used MCP servers for different things, and I find them sort of lacking in a lot of things. So there's an MCP server, a couple of them that are like third parties are put out to handle like Google Analytics or Google Search Console. I've used every single one of them. They all suck. And they all suck because they don't handle a lot of the common use cases that you need with reporting and summarizing data, where it has to run big reports, but then summarize the data back down before you give it to AI. Why is that important? Because if you feed it in all the raw data that it doesn't really need, you chew up the context window and the thing croaks.
Right. Thank you.
So you have to create very, very specific tools that accomplish specific use cases right now. Now, will that change? Sure. If you listen to Sam Altman like next year, well, AGI or whatever the hell he says, but the reality is it's going to take a lot longer for this stuff to mature. And I think the stock market. We can go there if you want to, but like you're seeing SaaS collapse, even though SaaS companies are beating earnings, like beating the revenue numbers and their growth numbers in a lot of cases, and yet their stock is dropping. I think $1 trillion in the market got eliminated over the course of the last 30 days.
So let's do the SaaS thing. So SaaS stock prices rose. All software companies' stock prices rose.
It's been crazy.
When, they thought that AI was lifting all boats. And then what? I think a lot of it had to do with like the PR and the disruption of Anthropic over the last couple of months, and maybe OpenAI to a certain extent. But then what happened is all the big SaaS companies have tanked.
Yeah. ServiceNow is down, 20-30% or something like
Yeah,
that.
and ServiceNow is probably the best enterprise SaaS
and they beat
platform.
Earnings.
And I mean, ServiceNow from the people I talk to is like what Salesforce could have been if it was any good.
Oh, Jesus.
It was built on solid foundations, and so you can integrate with it. Right. You can attach different processes and actually conduct your business with it versus Salesforce being, and I'm sorry if you're a big Salesforce fan, it's just being like a shadow IT databases.
No, I'm just pretty certain their building shadow is still like over this.
Yeah, exactly. But no, the take is that SaaS, the big SaaS companies are going to be disrupted by Claude, I guess, and people implementing. And there's talk of a lot of the AI startups in Silicon Valley, the ones that are starting with total greenfields, that they're building all internal tooling instead of going and getting Slack and getting Salesforce and getting this and getting that. I just want expand on the
amount of
take
debt that those people are taking on is ridiculous. Like, just because you can build it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
And it's the build versus buy mentality. Like, I really think it's crazy to think that SaaS is totally going to collapse. I think it's just going to rebrand itself as AI, like mathematics did. Like, the greatest rebranding of all time was, like, over the last 5 or 10 years, what we used to call math, now we call AI. And the same thing is going to happen with software companies. Now, are there certain ones that'll get disrupted by Gen AI? Of course. But there's a whole nother subset of them that are going to start to spring up that incorporate AI in different unique ways.
I think it's the incumbents. It's the big ones. It's the Salesforces, all the people who these organizations spend billions of dollars with, that they're going to all of a sudden say, hey, actually, we can probably go and slice out like 80% of this with this, and this. But there's going to be a whole new, there's going to be a whole new subset of companies. But even just the regular ones, again, like going as a company, I would not go rebuild Slack, right? Like, There's no reason for that. There's no gains in us having to customize Slack yet. Until there's a reason, and
well, I mean, I think if a lot of
see the CRM prices go down to make it like not require that,
right.
If I was a VC though, and I was investing in a Y Combinator startup that was full of a bunch of dudes that had a really good idea, do I really want their staff rebuilding Slack or Salesforce? Hell no.
Exactly. No. Like I've always believed you focus on, especially in the early days, you focus on your core and outsource everything else. I used to get pissed off in companies when I find developers that are trying to create a better mousetrap for something that we can buy off the shelf for $50 or $100 a month. Like, who gives a shit? That's not where I want your brain power focused. I want it focused on our core value prop that's really going to move the needle in terms of revenue. We'll worry about cost reduction later. It's always about revenue growth. In the early days, you want all hands on deck focused on how do we grow revenue and improve our product.
But I think that maybe is kind of the whole point of where, like, the companies who realize this and say, okay, you know what? Now I want you to go and I want you to put all your focus on this one problem that you're going to solve, but now you're going to be backed up by AI. You're going to have AI in your back pocket. You're going to be able to go and just like really laser focus down that we very well could see the companies who take advantage of that versus just being like, let's just have a bunch of dolts doing a bunch of mediocre bullshit, have a bunch of experts who now can just laser focus on, like, take ideas and problems that we've never even thought of to entire new levels. And that could actually be a really, really interesting thing for companies who take advantage of it that way.
Yeah. I've heard a lot over the last 2 years, CRMs are dead. CRMs are dead because AI, and because AI. I don't even understand that argument, and I've never seen a company that's moved off of their CRM once they might
I mean, the
switch
churn
CRMs.
risk of a CRM is
pretty low.
Yeah, and then no one's ever gotten fired for buying Salesforce, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I think that maybe the more of the discussion is is the market's expectation that they were going to use AI to make their business a lot better, and can it? And is it an execution problem for a big or large SaaS company, right? Like, is Salesforce or is Slack or name ServiceNow or some enterprise SaaS platform? Are they actually companies that have millions and millions of lines of code, whatever? Are they actually able to implement AI to enhance value in their product and ultimately make more money? It's like right now I'm looking at Google Workspace, and like every month I'm getting an email from Google like, hey, our new features are adding a lot of value, so you're going to pay more. And so maybe it's just typical market expectation, versus reality with some of that stuff, versus it being a SaaS is dead conversation.
Well, Warren Buffett would say in the short term, a market is a voting machine, in the long term, it's a weighing machine. Right now, it's a voting machine that is getting it all, that is way overcompensating for hype. Like, we're in the biggest bubble of my life, bigger than the .com bubble, but bigger than the housing bust. This is an even bigger one, and they're hanging on the words of people like Sam Altman and Elon Musk and others. And what's Sam Altman going to say? That version 5 is going to be incrementally better? Or is he going to come out and say, oh, ChatGPT 5 is going to be a quantum leap ahead of Chat? That's exactly what he did. Why?
They have to.
Because he has to. He has to raise more and more capital, so he's going to promise the
let me
world.
ask this question. So you think AI is a bubble, a big bubble. You just said it. You can't take it back. I know
that's all right.
We're right there with you. No, but I want to hear an explanation of, okay, so Altman's out there promising this. What is the gap? What is the reality, and what's the gap in terms of what makes it a bubble?
Again, it's the expectation versus reality. The expectation is, AI can do all of it. You heard Elon Musk, who I love, by the way, saying, AI will replace surgeons and whatever. Okay, but how, when? You're talking like a decade out, right? Or more.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens sooner.
Right.
Will the capability be there next year? I don't know, maybe, but will you trust it?
No.
Right? It's going to take time. And I think the biggest piece is that humans are required to deploy AI. I don't even see 100%, the amount of developers that are actually using AI to code is a pretty small percentage. You saw the GitHub numbers with just in code commits and it writing the commit message, which, by the way, 100% of my code was written by AI, and 100% of my pushes are AI writing comments of what it just did, right? I'm just guiding it along the path. And I know you guys are the same way. You're very AI forward. The reality is the rest of the human population is not. The early adopters is a very small percentage of the people. And that means it's going to take a decade of time to incrementally and slowly start deploying this stuff. And small companies, Cuban got that right. Like small business is a massive boom because they don't even know where to start. They can't afford to hire full-time people just focusing on AI for their company. So they're going to turn to freelancers and other solutions that are already baking AI in that they can use and buy.
Right.
I think that, Jacob, can we do a quick check on if we have driverless cars? Elon?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, he's been promising driverless cars
since
for
2016.
There's those videos where he says the same thing every year. He's like, by next Tuesday, we'll have driverless cars. But did you see? And Waymo's got they admitted to having people in the Philippines driving the car remotely.
That's so great, dude.
What the fuck?
Dude, no. So, but there. I guarantee you though that there's absolutely no way that. So my sister who lives in California, she's always sends every time that the power goes out and the lights go out, those Waymos don't know what to do. So they're just all, and they all just stick right in the center, and they don't know what to. She's like, I just get a video of her driving. She's like, look, there's a bunch of Waymos again that are stuck, and so those aren't being driven. But it wouldn't surprise me in the least. Again, just like when Elon had his little show and the robots and all that, people, the guy's like, hey, let's do some cards, and the thing's like the most human robot you've ever. Wait a minute, there's some fuckery afoot here. It's all show, man. It's all who's what's it, Fugazi, Fugazi.
only he can do that. That was like one of the best
was so
acting.
great.
So good.
And it was
But
so
let's
real.
get back to Cuban, because I think this is the scary thing for me. And what you said hurts my soul a little bit about developers, right? Because like they need, what are you doing? But
It's
if you're
mind-blowing.
not doing it, you're not seeing the opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not seeing that extra work, right? That we're talking about, building that CLI to go do this thing for you, or utilizing technology in the new way.
Yeah.
Right. This interconnected, ever ambitious way.
Okay,
Right?
sorry. Let me just, if you're a developer today that is not using AI and you've got all these like moral dilemmas with it or whatever, I want you to think about the last time you had to write CSS and how much time you spent trying to center a fucking div. Okay, only use AI to center a div. That's it. That's all you have to do. And or if let's pretend you have a lot of different things you have to do, you can just be, hey AI, go do this over and over and over again. You're not having it write your whole damn product, right? But you can go in there and you can do these little blocks, and it's going to blow you away. And then next thing you know, you're going to have it writing all your shit. But that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I saw the same thing with content writers, right? Content writers were petrified that AI is gonna take over my job. No, that's the wrong way to look at it. The writers of yesterday are now the editors of tomorrow. You just got a promotion. You're welcome. Like that's what AI is able to do for you. And I just was at an offsite strategy session with a marketing agency, and they're one that I would say this was yesterday, and they're really AI forward, but just now really starting to deploy AI agents in a way that produces real value. And the funny thing is, no one in the company there is looking at it as we're all going to get fired because of AI. Everyone's looking at it as the expectations of the client just changed. Because of AI, the client now wants more work at a lesser cost, and they still want high quality. So the pressure at the marketing agencies is we have to do more with less, right? You don't have a choice. We have to do more with AI because the expectation of output has increased, and it should. So AI for them is a weapon that they're deploying to get more out of their existing people, not to replace anyone. They're growing and they're adding headcount, and I think that's just going to continue. Right. So I think it's a stupid argument. I understand why people are fearful, but I can also see like developers are inherently builders, and when you're no longer building, you start to glitch out, right? Like that.
And the more negative connotation we were talking about before. Don't mean to be negative, is developers are used to being the bottleneck, right? They want it.
It's job security.
They're the bottleneck. Hey, how many points is that feature? Oh, it's like a 3-week thing, man. Don't talk to me until then. Like you know what I mean? And they get all this freedom and runway to just sit there and nerd out before they put the pull request.
You know what that feels like to me is the boss of a bunch of developers' opinion on how developers do their fucking scoping.
But I mean,
don't disagree.
The other type of developer is just like the person that's like, this is a good job that I get paid a lot for, and I'm just in here. This is a good paying job.
But again, like I don't what I
They're
don't
not
understand,
like us, dude.
But it's not. It's a tool. That's all it is. It's just if you truly didn't like tools like this, you would be writing your shit in assembler.
Oh wait, but Elon said that we're not even gonna have to write code anymore. It just goes straight to. Did you see that? You just go straight to machine code.
Again, these are decades out. Right?
Yeah,
these are
right.
like you're talking a decade. And it's not because the tech can't do it. It's because people won't let it happen. You have to have
the human element
deploying this stuff.
So I really love that statement that humans deploy AI until it doesn't. And so now that's something that's just coming up now, which is the reinforced improvement something where they're basically going to be self-improving their own models and deploying their own things. So that's where it gets a little bit interesting, but nevertheless,
it also gets really scary, and it doesn't work very well.
Oh, totally. But that's where I think people like if you're doing that. But like that's where I think people the fun comes. We're going to go experiment with it, and probably the end of the fucking world. besides the point. Someone like a Claude-bot, the guy comes up with Claude-bot, and all of a sudden, everybody's running their own
connects it to Palantir that has access to the
It
nuke
just
codes.
has everything, and all of a sudden, it's just like, hey, would you like to play thermonuclear war?
What a great movie.
But it's gonna be crazy.
We're not even at we're in. Those are all wonderful problems to have in a decade or more. But I've been hearing AGI is coming for.
Oh, no.
I don't even know how
Yeah,
long.
no.
And we're nowhere near.
No.
Really, we're nowhere near that happening.
As a technologist, I will lay my stake that you will not hit AGI with a large language model. Let's say a true intelligence. Okay, like, and again, it's going to be a moving fucking target. There's no doubt.
It's not Gen AI alone.
It's not Gen AI. I mean, we're talking like truly like generalized intelligence that is that we would have previously called super intelligence, right? Like it just doesn't happen with these large language. It's going to be some other thing. Again, Mother Nature's been working on this noggin for quite a long time.
Yeah, but you know what? Dolphins are really smart, but they can't do jack shit. You know what makes us smart? These things.
Your little claws.
Our hands.
No.
You know what I mean? What we can do in the physical realm. And so I think that it's like, to me, AGI is when there's a robot that's like doing some shit at your house, learning and like replicating the actual human experience.
Well, but that's
not like intelligence is like just what someone can sit there and do at their computer.
No.
To me, that's not AGI.
A joke. I want a truly novel joke. A truly novel joke. Give me a truly novel joke that is like sincerely funny, not one that's like, okay, yeah, that's cute, but like one that you're like, holy shit, that guy understood, because humor requires you to have a full comprehension of the human, concept.
They can regurgitate what they've already read.
Exactly.
Right? And that's Gen AI. That's why I say Gen AI alone will not get you to AGI. They've got
but combined Gen AI with us, that gets us to a superpower thing. And that's the people who are dipping on that, I think, is what you're missing is like, this thing's not going away.
But I've heard we're really close to it for 6 or 8 years now.
Yeah,
like we're really close to AGI.
Just keep giving me money.
Exactly.
So AGI it is like defined as it can do any task a human can do. So, but you're saying that the tasks that humans can do that it's not going to be able to do is basically be truly creative.
Yeah. Like when we say tasks, again, tasks are, I mean, we're just like, a child, you can give a child like some really complicated things and they can process it. Their brains goes, oh, hold on, takes this mental model, starts forming and all of it. And been like, oh, I can tell, like there's been, you watch drumming kids like these, I watch these kids who are like 8 years old and they're like drumming to Slayer. Right. And I mean, it's just mind blowing, right? Where you just see how incredible the brain is. And that whole thing's running on 4 watts. And that's the key, right? Like we're talking this low amount of power. This thing can do this. And there's magic there. There's magic happening.
But it seems like, okay, so I love the Slayer thing and I love the kid thing because it feels like there's honestly 2 swaths of people right now. There's people that are like seeing stuff, learning from it and executing and doing cool shit.
Yeah.
And then there's people that are just like slopping around, right? And I call it the lowest. I had an interesting conversation with my friends. I was like, anytime my kids get in trouble, I just immediately go, oh, you're grounded for as long as I want you to be from screens. And they're like, fuck. Because I'll just take any excuse I can get to take away. It's gone.
Right.
And like right now they're grounded from it. And like they barely did anything. But they're living. They are so much better without just slopping around.
Yeah.
And like it's like, dude, hey, go look on. There's a 10-year-old that can drum to Slayer. What have you done so far?
What are you doing?
Well, I was reprogramming my compact Presario and hacking my AOL 2.5 account. Like you gotta nothing in the game has changed. You still got to be good at shit.
Exactly.
Right. And I think let's get back to the Cuban thing, because I think you say a lot of this stuff's a decade away. Cuban goes on that, whatever that show was, and I thought he was great. And we don't agree with all his takes. I don't think anyone does. Anyone agrees with Elon, whatever. But like, he's like, hey, there's 33 million companies in the United States. The biggest boon coming is helping them implement this new technology in their businesses. Yeah. And first of all, it's great because that's what I do. But
it's craftitup.com.
Yeah. And it's the same thing, Sean. We all it's like, that's what you need to focus on. Don't get caught up necessarily in like, I don't know, the god of it all.
Right.
Well, I think it's also like when you look at, if you ever read Jeffrey Moore's Crossing the Chasm and Inside the Tornado and stuff like that, they talk about the early adopters, and you have just a life cycle of technology. When you think about the people that are the early adopters, a lot of them are not in small businesses, right? Small businesses are a lot of service companies, a lot of whatever they are. There might be there. I'm not saying there's no early adopters, but there are, but there's not that few. They're smaller companies. They have fewer employees, so the odds that someone's going to be technically proficient, you find more early adopters in the tech and marketing. To be honest, marketing's like tip of the spear in most orgs. Most small businesses don't have a marketing department; they outsource it.
Dude, so to that point, for what we just talked about last week, hire a vibe coder.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just like a small mom and pop company? If you can go and find yourself a kid who just graduated, who's going to live at his parents' house, you're going to pay him 30 grand. You're going to pay him 30 grand. And you're going to be like, yo, Junior, you can
Pay
work
more
out.
than 30 grand.
No. Just to start at 30 grand. He just graduated. He's living in his fucking parents' house. It's what the internet's going to do, or the AI is going to do. And then you just say, hey, listen, and I'm going to then pay you a commission on top of everything that you do and you build for this organization. And then all of a sudden,
that's what Cuban was saying, and I think he's right, which is first of all, there's two things happening with small businesses people don't realize. People talk about VCs. Private equity is consolidating those 33 million companies are going to be 10 million companies.
Right.
Okay. All the wealth, the boomer wealth, they're selling out and moving to Florida. They're not passing that shit down to nobody. Maybe they'll give you the house.
Yeah.
Right. But they're selling and they're consolidating. Well, what happens when you have a PE event? You have a value acquisition time period where they need to rise the value of the property and then sell it again. Well, that's where all the innovation in AI needs to happen. So like if you're a young kid who's trying to find a job and can't figure it out, go start a AI tech services company right now and go start calling on HVAC companies.
Exactly. Yeah. Focus on plumbers. Focus on whatever.
Doesn't matter.
Focus AI. That's it. Go pick a thing.
How many
AI.
contractors? I talked to a buddy of ours who's went from $0 to $10 million in 4 years. They have nothing. They have spreadsheet and phone. Okay.
You sound like a caveman. Spreadsheet, phone.
That's what they do. That's how contractors. Now, as you've had HVAC companies come to your house and they have the iPad and they're doing this stuff, but a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
A lot of those repeatable. But anyways, I mean, there's like the point is there's like the facade and like the distraction, but there's the opportunity as well.
Right. This is where I think it's overly hyped. Not everyone is going to deploy AI. Everyone is going to use a tool that has deployed AI. Right? And so, so this is kind of back to the SaaS argument, like SaaS is dead. No, it's not. It's just getting a rebranding over time. Is the SaaS model, the pricing model dead? Yeah, it'll move more towards what I would call transactional SaaS, like the prices will come down for things. But I don't think SaaS is going away. I think it's just going to have a lot more AI baked into it. So whether you call it AI later in life or what we used to call SaaS, I mean, technically AI is SaaS. Look at the pricing model.
Yeah.
It's SaaS.
So right now, who are the biggest 3 SaaS providers? So you said ServiceNow, you think?
SaaS ChatGPT.
Yeah. But I'm kind of curious, like where your take
include itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Where do you think? Because like really, like Salesforce is a good example. I mean, again, Salesforce makes all their money on this. Where do you see AI impacting their business model?
In Salesforce?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to keep baking. Salesforce is in a difficult position because they have like a whole ecosystem of partners. And so it's actually in their best interest to have a shitty product.
All right, can you guys guess? I'm gonna let Brandon guess first.
For the top 3, I wouldn't have fucking asked the question if I had any idea.
All right, Sean, you guess.
Salesforce.
Top software
Top 3.
companies?
Top 3 SaaS companies, and it's
Technically Microsoft, Oracle.
yes, Microsoft number 1. Azure plus Office 365 is
AWS
Dynamics.
one.
I would probably say Amazon and Oracle or Google. I don't know
Google.
if you consider.
GS. Yeah. What are they? Come on. Quit
Well,
teasing us.
I think that they narrowed it down to the actual SaaS offering. They have Salesforce 2 and Adobe 3, But Google, Oracle, SAP, ServiceNow, Workday.
Spanked. I mean, they're all getting spanked from a stock market standpoint right now, which is
Adobe still has they had a commercial for Acrobat the other day. They were like, do more with Acrobat. And I was like, do I need to try this thing?
do I need to try this?
Fucking hell. Oh, goddamn. Oh,
I mean, it looked cool.
That's little portable documents, man. This is amazing.
I'm sorry.
Oh no! So they deserve to be spanked because what Adobe has done is Adobe started on brilliance, started on this just creative power, and then turned into this behemoth, and now does everything possible to just hold you into their system, and it's garbage, and it sucks so bad. It's like I want Illustrator to be as good as Figma, you know, and it's just like it's not. And I'm sitting here and I'm paying a ridiculous
like a
amount
monolithic
for it.
software packages you don't really need
Exactly.
anymore. And is Adobe going to go away? No, their prices are going to come down.
Yeah, they're going to continue to fire people.
Have you guys checked out Rive? It's like the remember Macromedia?
Oh yeah,
Flash.
yeah.
Which became Adobe Flash, right? Rive is like bringing like the Flash back.
What's its output?
Let's
I
ask.
assume just like
But
HTML5.
HTML5. Fucking boomer.
It's AMP. It's all AMP.
I always
all AMP.
I always hated that when people would be like, is this website going to be built in HTML5?
Is this
I'm like, no, we're still on
DHTML?
we're still on 1.3. We're gonna have to upgrade your network for that one.
Oh,
Shut the fuck up.
It's got to be either Canvas or DHTML. Good.
Really? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's beautiful. It making me sweat.
Rive output depends differently, but its primary outputs its own proprietary format. Web, JavaScript, Canvas, WebGL, Swift runtime, Kotlin. It's cross-platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's
Is that what we really need? Do we need more like fucking stupid animated? It's like, oh, that's cool. It's like it's great the first time you experience it, and then every other time it's annoying as shit. It's like it's great for one thing, and then you never want to experience it in anything that you're doing on a daily basis.
So you're not a framer motion guy.
No, Framer Motion's amazing. Like you can do some amazing stuff. However, those are usually for a website that I'm going to go and I'm going to land on the website. I'm going to experience that brand for the first time. I'm going to get their whole thing. I'm going to be like, this is really cool. But I'm not going to it every day.
Yeah.
So like anything that I'm going to do every day, which is the things that I like to build. I like to build things that are going to be like, you're going to use this all the time. And that all of that super whatever the word is.
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Wikipedia.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's a fine balance between it, right? Because those.
Well, are you the accessibility guy? True usability guy? Or are you the flashy guy?
No, it's somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Like there has to be just enough. But like the Craigslist and those guys just gave up. They just didn't care anymore. They're just like, whatever, we're making our money, we're fine. We don't need to change. It's working fine. But you always feel dirty. Like if you go to Craigslist right now and you go and experience it, you're going to come off with this 1990s stink on you. And it's a very bizarre fucking experience. And I don't know. And same with Wikipedia, same kind of experience thing that you have there. So I think there's that happy medium. So I will always be in that kind of middle ground where you need to have just enough sex appeal to make it, like I'm good, I'm here, but I'm not sitting here waiting for an eyeball to float around the fucking screen.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to my TED.
I was never really good at that kind of stuff anyways. That was more like your lane.
I hated it though. I sucked at it too.
I'm more like I need 100 score on Lighthouse.
Yeah, right.
I have an agent for that.
Yes.
All right, where are we?
I think we've really covered a lot here today. I do not think that this 4% of GitHub commits is AI should be a lot higher. They said 20% by the end of the year.
Wait, what's 4%?
They said the 4% of AI commits. I think it's just the commit message, right? Isn't it the commit message?
Yeah, let's see. Let me see if I can dig.
Okay,
this.
I might be wrong, but I thought.
Let me dig in.
I thought it was like.
Let me see. There's probably someone in the replies that just trashing
message,
it.
How much of that is AI?
Okay.
I don't know that it's the actual
it says
code.
Claude code. 4% is Claude code. So I guess that could be.
That makes sense to me, right?
Yeah, that makes more sense
When
then.
I talk to companies and I talk to the developers in those companies, 4% of the developers are actually using AI. It's a
that's
small number.
I had a
Which is shocking.
we posted about we built an MVP in 40 days, okay, for a company and launched it. And I posted about it on LinkedIn, and I had somebody come to me from a traditional software development company, and they scheduled time. And they sat down and they were like, man, we can't do that. We need to figure that out. And I'm like,
I think you're going to see an explosion of non-developers building apps more so than developers building apps with AI, like having AI build the actual app. And so I think that's going to force developers' hands. They will have to or be displaced.
I've been very on the fence about that, and really not even on it. I've been like, you know how there's those moments where you're like, wait, why are you doing that? Don't do that. Do this.
Yeah.
When you're vibe coding, or when
totally.
AI do,
Like
just
every hour.
I know, but think about that when someone's doing something,
No.
even in Lovable.
Listen, guys, what I'm telling you is,
I'm like, you're gonna make some bad stuff.
No one's gonna care. They're not going to care. There's going to be bad shit. We're going to have things blow up. People are going to die. People's houses are going to catch on fire. And everybody's just going to be like, that's just the way it works, right? Because right now, what we're going to do is we're going to empower a bunch of stupid people who are going to come up with some amazing fucking ideas. And they're not going to care about it at the level
Like
that we
open,
care about
I mean,
it.
OpenClaw is the first. And
Exactly.
but that guy's an expert. He purposefully,
But he knew,
lit
like
the world on
yes,
fire.
exactly. He knew. He's like, I'm just going to go open up the little flower of your computer, and I'm going to give AI unfettered access to it. But I'm going to wrap it around the most brilliant fucking memory model. And that's what blew me away about this whole thing, is that what OpenClaw showed me is that, because I just connected it to my OpenAI model. I didn't do Claude or anything, and it doesn't matter. The model that you fucking connect it to does not matter. It's all
That's
of
the
the
commodity.
knowledge that
Yeah.
it's got on top of it. And that thing was fucking amazing.
Are you using it? Are you using OpenClaw?
I've dabbled. I started to, and then OpenAI bought them, and I went, nope.
Yeah,
gone. I'm done.
I had serious security concerns because I've got a lot of
You
proprietary
should.
stuff that I got to deal with.
I have
nobody
even more
should.
now that OpenAI has bought them.
Exactly. Nobody should go run that unless you just want to live dangerously and potentially burn your house down.
But I think the people that like us that have used AI consistently on various different projects and are using it to code, when you hear, would you let AI code itself autonomously?
Yeah.
Hell no, because I spend most of my day arguing with it, fighting with it, and fixing the bugs that it causes, or using it to fix bugs that it causes. But it produces more garbage than it does quality, unless you're on it and know how to prompt it right.
I'm totally with that. I believe that
so why
there
should
is going to be a
OpenClaw
lot
be
of
any
stuff
different?
created more than ever.
Yep.
But I'm more steadfast in my position that people like us are going to win. And
No. We're not.
needed.
We're absolutely not going to win in the
we're
long
winning.
term. No, we're not going to win in the long term. In the long term.
So what are we going to be doing?
How many years? What's long term to you?
20 years probably.
I'll be-
Like 10 to 20
how old am I?
know,
I'm 40 I'm 41. I'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be
I'm
dead
probably
by
won't be
then.
alive.
I'm hoping at
it's
least.
the boomer mentality. The next generation will
Fuck
deal
them,
with that.
fuck 'em. No, but I think that it does get to a point where so much of the we're not going to be worrying about infrastructure. We're not going to be worrying about bugs. We're not going to be worrying about any of that. All of that's just going to be taken care of. So every single one of us who've lived and made our personalities that stuff, you're going to have a problem, and you're going to have to level up and say, okay, now if I don't have to ever worry about any of that stuff, and you're there. You're on that precipice of where you're taking, and you're like, okay, I can just let AI go do so much of this work that we used to have an entire company behind. That what you're doing here is going to ultimately be the future, and all of the hard shit that we're all screaming about and being like, AI is not going to help you. It's eventually going to help you. And then we just have to go and sit on top of those shoulders and basically build the most amazing shit. And now we're competing with a bunch of people who don't have a lot of the emotional baggage that we've had previously. So that's going to be the fun challenge.
But I think even when everyone has a different way of doing things, is it? So like today, the hype is that, well, AI can just do this thing. Okay, but that thing can be done millions of different ways, right? And there's probably only a couple ways that work. You just think AI is going to immediately do it the right way. I mean, I'm sorry, we all have experience with
Sure.
AI. It never does it the right way out of the gate. It takes a lot of
But if you
time,
have
training,
if
whatever.
you have 1 million people doing it, then
Does it
three
learn
of
faster?
them nail it. Right? There's going to be 999,996 that are going to be failures. But those three are going to go fucking hyperbolic because they nailed whatever that magic, just like the coalition of the fucking, solar system, where just ding, 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 some magical things start banging together. And next thing you know, over 1 million years, we've got all this shit where now we have a bunch of these people, 8 billion companies, right? Everybody's going to be starting every company because now one guy can go and basically build like some crazy shit. It's going to be wild. All I know it's going to be wild. There's going to be explosions. There's going to be lovemaking. There's going to be fun shit. There's going to be horrible shit, and I'm all here for
argument, I guess where I'm at is the argument that SaaS is going to die, AI is going to take over. Yeah. In the next 10 years, that's not, I just don't see it happening. I think SaaS companies will evolve too and become more like AI or bake more AI into their software. Are these big enterprise packages, that's probably dead, right? The prices of SaaS will come down, but AI is SaaS. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
The way they make their money is the same as a SaaS company.
A really good point.
So SaaS is not dead. It just is
it's going to
rebranded
evolve.
as AI. Exactly.
I love the description that SaaS is just going to rebrand. Of course, it's going to change. They're going to lay off people. They're going to make pricing models. All of that's going to happen.
And some of it will get sucked into AI for sure.
Right.
But again, if you go back to that three-legged stool thing, the companies that have net unique data that is not freely available for AI to learn from still have an advantage and a moat in today's world.
Right.
The other moat is the instructions and it's effectively your process, the process that you tell AI to go down to do a thing. There's still value in that, and AI can't just easily rip it off or come up with their own, quote, better version. It's going to take time in order for AI to take, like, we're nowhere near Terminator stage. It's a decade, and the reason is because it's still humans are the ones that are buying things, right? AI does not have a wallet; it's not buying yet, and it's not the decision maker inside of a company, which means you have humans that are making the decisions inside of companies and humans that are deploying AI, and they're inherently slow. They're still only a very, very, very small percentage. And I'm not talking about the massive enterprise companies. Sure, they're probably using AI a hell of a lot more than mid-market, and they're using it a hell of a lot more than SMBs. But it's just going to take a lot longer amount of time. And one of the biggest problems today is still this blank canvas problem. People just don't know where to start. So I think they're going to turn to tools that give them that starting point.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. Well, SaaS is not dead, my friends. It's just
SaaS is
rebranded.
dead. Long live SaaS.
Long live SaaS.
Dude, that's
and
gonna have
long
to be
live
the
the city
title.
of Indianapolis. That heavily depends on that entire ecosystem. So, thank you, Sean. You were awesome, dude.
Awesome.
This was a good one.
This was fun.
Thanks for being on your best behavior, Brandon.
Absolutely.
Thanks for producing, Jacob. Yeah. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. Post it.
Post it.
Post it.
Post it.
Thanks, guys.